What's up, people? Come on in. Hit the like and subscribe on your way in the door. Let's talk about killer mentality and what that means in life. So there's a lot of talk, in this Jordan-LeBron debate about Jordan having the killer mentality, LeBron not so much. But I want to dig a little bit deeper into what I think that means. Because obviously, Jordan was clutch. He was feared by his opponents, revered by his opponents. And because he was known, to keep his foot on your neck. If he got you down, he wanted to keep you down. He didn't want to give you any leeway, any room to think that you were on his level. Having said that, there's also this talk about, LeBron. So one of the things that people try to use against Jordan, in this debate is that he went to a team that, had a front office that did everything they could to put the right pieces around him and blah, blah, blah. And, that wasn't the same case when LeBron was in Cleveland. And you could say it's some truth to that, but then we need to think about why that is. Why is it that Jordan and the front office of the Chicago Bulls were so energized to get the right people around him? Why is that? Why is it that the same thing didn't happen for LeBron in Cleveland? Well, here's what I think it is. We've all played sports. Well, those of us who have played sports, even if it's just, street ball. I used to play basketball 4 or 5 times a week easily when I was younger. So I love basketball. And I think anybody who's played sports can tell you that the rest of the team takes his cues from the leader. And depending on what kind of energy the leader is putting out, that's kind of how the rest of the team goes. So, if you got a guy on your team who's the leader and you see him doing everything possible to try to win the game, you are going to feel obligated to match that energy. You don't want to be out there looking like the weak link or become the reason why the team fails. So you're going to match that energy. So it's the same with everybody else on the team for the most part. So here's my theory. It's like Jordan had such a never say die attitude. Going back to the Chicago Bulls when he had broken his foot and the team didn't want him to play. And, it's the line, I guess, that goes, the team doctor, somebody asked Jordan, if you had Tylenol, if you had a headache and the bottle of Tylenol says 10 tablets or something, but one of them contains cyanide. So, it's 10% chance you might die. And Jordan's response is, well, how bad is the headache? And so that's how he viewed that 10% chance of him re-injuring his foot. He wanted to play, period. He didn't want to try to tank the game so that they could get a better draft pick. You know, he played to win every single game. That's how it should be. So I feel like when you come to a team and the team sees that you're that way. The team sees that you never say die, never give up. The coaches see that you're that way. The front office sees that you're that way. That attitude is going to motivate everybody. That attitude is going to motivate the front office to say, hey, look, we got a guy, not only is he talented and has the skills, but he also works harder than anybody else. And on the court, you can literally tell that this guy gives every single thing he has to possibly give. And if you're saying that in the front office, you're going to be like, we got to get this guy some help. Like, it's going to motivate you to want to do everything in your power to make your team a champion and to work just as hard as this guy on the court trying to make that happen. Because his energy is contagious. So, you know, if we turn around and flip that to LeBron, LeBron is a phenomenal player. I don't think that has to be said again. I think everybody knows he's a phenomenal player. Super talented, super high basketball IQ. But, you know, I don't think it's arguable. I don't think that you can make a case that he has the same killer will as Jordan. And it's not just about scoring. It's just about truly never say it die. And I feel like, you know, that game where JR, you know, made the mistake and didn't call the timeout, didn't go back up to rebound, you know, and they going into overtime. And LeBron pretty much gave up after that. I feel like that demonstrates that he doesn't have that never say die attitude. So even though to me, you come to a team, you know, people pick up on that. So they might say, oh, we have a super talented guy, a super skilled guy. But if you're not putting forth that energy, that's like, I'm willing to die on this court to get those W's, it doesn't motivate those around you to do that same thing. It doesn't motivate the front office to go out of their way to get the pieces around you that you need. It doesn't motivate your teammates in the same way. And so I think it's a big difference between being highly skilled and then being highly skilled plus having that killer mentality. You know, Kobe had it. And I would say, I think Kobe's killer mentality was slightly different than Mike's, which we'll talk about that in another video about why I think that is and how I think that is. But I think Kobe's was slightly different than Mike's. However, Kobe had that killer mentality. And it was demonstrated, if any of you have watched the Redeem Team documentary, you know that Kobe was the fire behind that team. Kobe is what lit that fire. You know, when he knocked who was it, Paul Gasol, when he said, I'm going to run right through him. To me, he was setting the tone to the rest of the team that to say, hey, we're not playing out here. I'm not playing out here. And that was contagious, you know. And to me, that is what LeBron lacks. He lacks that ability to galvanize people simply by how he plays. Yes, he's skilled. Yes, he knows how to make the right play. But yeah, he knows how to make the right play. But to me, it's about more than that. It's about how you play. You know, sidestep. But for a minute, let's talk about this. The right play. What is that? To me, the right play is the one that's going to get you the W. When you know, when they talk about the right play, the right play is the one that's going to get you the W. Is that not what sports is about? Getting the W? Isn't that why you play? So if LeBron can get to the basket, which he can, then that should be the play. If he gets to the basket better than anyone else on that team, which he can, that should be the right play. And I don't understand how anyone could see it any differently. Sports is about winning. So whatever is going to get you the W is the right play. It's like Michael Jordan knew that he was the best option. So it's not about passing or not passing. You know, it's about getting the W. That's the right play. Anyway, back to killer mentality. So yeah, to me, Kobe had that. Like I said, if you watch that Redeem Team documentary, you will see that it is no doubt that Kobe was the fire behind that team. It's not arguable. So when you have that mentality, you fire others up around you, and that's why everything that happened to Jordan was a result of how he played the game. He said that many times. You know, whether it's the shoe deals, you know, the advertisements and endorsements, you know, and him becoming as big as he did. You know, people try to minimize that as if, you know what I hate when people say, oh, it's just the media that made him that big. That's ridiculous. Because if that's the case, why hadn't the media made anybody else that big? Why did they just choose to make him this big simply from media marketing? It's ridiculous. He was chosen because of how he played the game. Everything that came is because of how he played the game. And if anything, he becomes more underrated as time goes by because, you know, you tend to forget being in those moments and taking for granted what you saw back then. And the highlights, you know, can never capture what it was like to actually be back in that time. So yeah, you know, with this whole comparison, I think the killer instinct, people don't really break down the nuances of what that can mean and how that affects everything around you.